Hi again, everybody. I'm Dan Hoard. He is Dave Lapham. It's time for the Radio Guys recap after the Baltimore Ravens beat the Bengals on Sunday 49-13, Cincinnati falling to 0-9 this season. We saw an MVP candidate at his absolute best. Lamar Jackson, a perfect passer rating of 158.3. He also had one of the most spectacular 47-yard runs you will ever see. Just an amazing performance. And Bengal safety Sean Williams said after the game, I think right now it's impossible to stop him. He's hot. They've got a great offensive scheme, and I think the Bengals are happy they don't have to see him again this year.
No question. I mean, the first time they saw him, he went for 152. So, I'm thinking, don't let him be Barry Sanders again. Make him play quarterback. All he does the next time they see him is he pitches a 158.3. Perfect game. Tom Severs him. I mean, it's like, what can't this guy do? So... And Greg Roman, got to tip my cap to him. Even in the passing game, everything is very simple. Utilizing the tight ends. His tight ends made great plays for him. He's got Hollywood Brown to make the speed plays. He's got the big tight ends that are controlling the middle of the football field. I mean, play action, when they run play action, it is legit because they can hurt you so bad running the football. You have to respect it. And there's huge cavities between linebackers and safeties. And, man, and Lamar Jackson, Dan, he can throw, the Quisenberry, he can throw over the top. He can throw anywhere he needs to throw it. He changes his arm slot, his arm angle, and he's very, very special, very unique guy. There's no question.
The Ravens were the number one running team in the NFL coming into the game, so Baltimore on the opening drive begins with a 49-yard pass. They had 75 yards to score a touchdown on their first drive, 76 passing, -1 rushing. You have to load up the defense to stop the run, and that gives Lamar Jackson wide open targets.
Great call by Greg Roman and the offensive staff to say, okay, let's go contrarian. We gashed them running the football. We know they're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. They're going to take away that running game. Let's just make them alter their game plan right away. Let's throw it over their heads. Hollywood Brown went Hollywood. He went over the top. And Lamar Jackson laid one out there for him. So, yeah, it's like, now what? And, then the defense comes up and with 2 takeaways for touchdowns. So they outscored the Bengals defensively. Bengals only had 1 touchdown in the day, and they had 2. They outscored them 14-10 to complement what's going on with that offense. So the Ravens right now are playing complementary football. They're playing as well as anybody in the NFL right now, a 5-game winning streak. And, when they go to Seattle and beat Seattle, and they beat the Patriots on Sunday Night Football at Baltimore, that's a legit football team. Found out how legit today.
Ryan Finley made his first NFL start. He threw his first NFL touchdown pass to Tyler Eifert. What were your overall impressions of his performance?
Obviously, some good, some very bad. You certainly don't want to throw the interception. Talked to Zach in the postgame about it. He was frantically sprinting down the sideline trying to call a timeout because he thought the play clock was going to expire. And he said that Finley made a check that they had, and he made the right check. Peters just made a better play. And that's what a Pro Bowl type cornerback will do, bait you a little bit and break on it. And he made the play on him. And then ball security in the pocket, is going to be something that he's going to have to learn. And the key is don't repeat those mistakes. Learn from them. And in talking to Ryan in the locker room after the game, he said, man, I saw and learned a lot today in terms of, not just audibilizing out of one play to another, but one protection to another, because Baltimore does so much, and they change things, during the course of your cadence even. So Trey Hopkins was throwing a lot of compliments at Ryan Finley. Ryan Finley throwing a lot of compliments at Trey Hopkins, the way they handled all that part of it. So there was some good. And Ryan, I thought, game management for that part of it was great. And then the other thing is, when you have a tragedy, how do you handle it? Do you assume the fetal position and roll over and play dead the rest of the game, or do you do something about it? And after the first one, he went on his touchdown drive and responded. So they moved the ball. They just, have to make more plays again in the red zone. It was good to see Tyler Eifert catch a touchdown pass, but they had that touchdown in the red zone. Other than that, they had 2 red zone penetrations where they got nothing. They had the pick 6 and lost the ball on down. So you have to be more consistent. They're, 33%, that's what they were coming in. That's last in the league.
The silver lining in a 49-13 loss was the running game, and Joe Mixon in particular. 30 carries, that's a new career high. He finished with 114 yards. The team had 157 on the ground and outrushed the Baltimore Ravens. So if there's anything the Bengals walk out of the locker room feeling good about, it was the play of number 28.
No doubt. And they outrushed the Rams before the bye in London. Then they outrushed the Ravens. Outrushing the Ravens is a big deal. And I think Joe Mixon ran hard every single opportunity to get every inch out of it he can. So once he started seeing the offensive line operate like they did, he's like, man, I'm getting after this. And, just kind of snowballed. I give Jim Turner a lot of credit. They had different blocking patterns up front. They were double teaming a 3 technique and pulling the center. And Joe Mixon was reading it out. They were getting big plays on that. So they changed what they were doing up front. And, the offensive line has pride. And, they started getting after it a little bit and started getting some momentum. So that's a really good sign. 2 weeks in a row now, they've kind of unlocked that running game a little bit. And if they can continue to build and improve on that, that's going to be Ryan Finley's best friend is a good, sound running game. It's going to be easier for him to play quarterback for the rest of the season.
The Bengals are 0-9. The first worst start in franchise history is 0-10. They will try to avoid that next week on the West Coast as they take on the Raiders.
The Raiders.
In Oakland. For Dave Lapham and our photographer, Sina Grivey, I'm Dan Hoard. Thanks for checking out the Radio Guys Recap here on Bengals.com.